Hello, offloaders. So it's been an interesting start to the pod. So we've got Loki on today. So Loki, next week we have a special guest. He's with the West Tigers. His name's Alex Twal. But this episode's going to go out tomorrow, actually, this podcast. So I'm expecting big things from you.
I'm bringing big things.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're actually sponsored by Viagraco.com and
What a segue.
and so you said you use that pretty regularly?
Yeah, every day.
Okay. So this is gonna be a funny one. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Christmas parties today. We're gonna talk about a few different things. But let's start with you, Loki.
Sure.
So Darren came on our last episode and he was saying he found it hard to introduce himself, talk about himself.
Yeah.
How do you go with that?
I listened to that one actually. It was a good one. I don't have the same issue with I don't get awkward about talking about myself. I don't really know what people would want to know. I don't think my life's that interesting.
But everyone says that.
Yeah.
Before they come on from Maryland's, they always say that, and everyone's like, "Great story." What about man? You've gone from a PT to a firefighter. I think that's fairly interesting.
I think my life as a whole is exactly pretty much how I want it. 99%, I'm super happy with my life. I love it. I just don't see why anyone else would find that interesting. I don't know.
That's not a bad point. So you feel like everything in your life has come together, but you can't. If someone was watching your life, let's say a reality show, you don't see how it'd be interesting.
Oh, no way. That'd be awful.
It'd be the worst reality show ever.
Yeah. I'm not going out and doing an extreme shit and other stuff. This is just how I want my life to be. I can't imagine anyone else wanting to be in terms of wanting to see it on TV and that sort of thing. I have a great life. Yeah.
I reckon your life's interesting, man. Because you always, I remember when you were PT, even PT manager, you always had the dream to go into the firefighting as well. Yeah. And then you said, you tried once? Is that right?
Oh, I tried 4 or 5 times.
Oh, really?
I tried 4 times in New South Wales, but I also tried in Queensland and ACT and somewhere else. All the states have a different process.
Oh, really? How do they differ?
Oh, they're just they're all very, very, very similar. But they're a completely separate organisation. So they run you can't just kind of go, oh, here's my test for New South Wales, so just use that for. They have their own sort of questions and slightly different physical tests and other stuff. But it's more or less the same thing.
Is that what you expected? Joining the
the actual job?
Yeah.
No. I think I was expecting it to be a lot more non-stop, a lot more full-on, action-packed. Than what it actually is. But now that I've been a firefighter for 2.5, 3 years, it's definitely a good thing that it's not as action packed and adrenaline inducing and everything. It'd just be exhausting if it was. If it was what I expected.
Because you do 2 days. There's 2 days on, and then you have time off. Is that right?
We do 2 24-hour shifts. So we do 24 hours on, 24 hours off, 24 hours on, and then we have 5 days off.
And then you find, I remember you saying, so you're kind of not expected to sleep, but it helps to sleep. But when you first started, that was pretty tough, you're saying.
Yeah, you do get to sleep at nighttime, and then if you get calls, you go, obviously. So sometimes if you don't get a call through the night, which is rare, but it does happen, you'll just sleep the whole way through, but it's not like sleeping at home. It's a light sleep.
I think that'd be tough. Yeah.
If there's any kind of noise, you're on alert and you're there. Yeah.
And then, do you miss the guys at one playground or what?
Yeah.
Is that serious?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It was real tough to leave, really tough. And it was I loved my job, but I was going into another job I loved, so I didn't think it would be that much of an issue. But it's the people for sure. Yeah.
And then what about Christmas parties? What do you have any like top ones? Because obviously we've got our Christmas party coming up this week, and
Yep.
this is I want to call it an emergency episode because we booked this like ages in advance. I didn't even think I'd get, for the listeners, I didn't think I'd get you on ever. So I'm happy to have you here.
I wasn't playing hard to get. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about.
No, it would be fun, man. Don't worry, it'll be good. So Christmas parties like at one playground. How do you find it?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was always good fun. Like some were more fun than others, but they were always a good time. It was always got something to look forward to. And I think, like, I want to say the one just after COVID. There was one that was like a lot more tame and a lot more chilled out and just kind of dinner and drinks, and then everyone kind of went off on their own thing. But it was still a good time. Like I still look back at it and kind of was like, yeah, it was a great night out.
Because have you had any, since you've been a firefighter?
No.
Okay. Well, I can't ask you then, but I will say for myself, my clients think it's like the one playground is going to be the most craziest. Like they think it's like everyone's hooking up and it's like insane. And
one big orgy.
Yeah, pretty much. But I said to like my clients, I go, my craziest one was being a teacher.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think teachers, and I'm like not throwing them under the bus because my sister's a teacher and my wife, but I think they have the most crazy. Because they like let off a lot of steam kind of thing. So I think theirs is the most
I get that.
insane.
You spend all day, every day trying to like be on your best behavior and be real civil, and yeah, it makes sense. You let loose.
Yeah, like we had, I can't say the names or anything of the place, but we had one where a female got extremely intoxicated and she basically said to the owner of this school, nobody likes you. So we were expecting on the Monday, we're like, oh, she's going to be like in a fair bit of trouble, but she stayed on.
Yeah.
And apparently the next few, she had another big couple of Christmas parties as well. Like someone was saying, oh, should we get an Uber for you? And she tried to kick them in the stomach. So she's pretty like full on. But I guess for you, the biggest thing I wanted to chat about with the party, because you got proposed to at the Christmas party, like I think a few people were, when they heard about like this with Elena, who works at one playground as well, they heard about this and they were sort of saying they didn't know how you were going to react because you don't like the attention on yourself and things like that. So how did you find it, that whole experience?
It was a genuine surprise for me. I had no idea. So for like a little bit of context, like we'd had like some pre-drinks. We'd gone to a hotel room with a bunch of people. I can't remember who was there, but I distinctly remember like going there and I was having drinks and having a great time, and Elena wasn't having anything. And like we were there for maybe an hour and a half. She hadn't eaten anything. She was being real quiet. She kind of kept going to the bathroom and I was like, I reckon we're going to call it. Like, you're obviously not in the mood to party. Like, let's just go home. She was like, no, you keep going. I'm good. Like, and so when we were at the Christmas party, I just kept looking at her and she just looked off. So I was like, I think it's gonna be an early night, like sort of thing. I was getting ready to wrap up. So when it all happened, like it was a big surprise. But she was only quiet and off because she wanted to make sure she was in her bed. Like she wanted to make sure she was sober and knew what she was doing and didn't make a mess of herself. But it was a genuine shock when she did it in front of everyone. Because I think they were like doing some presentations. So other people were going up and saying like, there's an award for this and there's an award for that. And then Elena went up and everyone looked at me and was like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. Let's find out together. But it was a genuine surprise.
Did you actually, because obviously I was in the UK then, did you actually say yes straight away, or what was your response?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was genuinely shocked and far from sober. So it took me, I was slow to process, but 100%.
Because did you, was it Elena went up an award? Like, so Justin, the owner of One Playground, he knew, he was in on it, right?
Yeah.
And then he went up and then on the award, she started speaking, and were you like, oh, this is a bit like odd. She's saying, was it a long speech before she proposed or?
I don't think so. I think she just kind of introduced it and I don't remember it being particularly long. again, very far from being sober. So my recollection is like pretty much what the videos show.
And it's maybe like I can vouch for Elena. I remember when I proposed, it's not even if you know they're going to say yes, you still have that nervousness. So maybe that's why. And she probably did have a little bit of like what's she going to say and things like that. And then I guess for you after, like, was it because you're drinking and things like that and you're quite like high from the Christmas party and then you have like the proposal, like what did it feel straight after? Did you still feel that elation till the end of the night, or did you feel quite like not drained but like tired as it went on? Do you know what I mean?
No, I think the environment that we were in, like being surrounded by like, I don't know, 200 people that we were real close with, and that I think most people like knew who we were, and a lot of people knew kind of like the process that we'd gone through to be in the position that we were, and kind of the sort of relationship we had. So they all kind of knew that it was a real big thing. So it was the perfect way to do it. Like it meant that we were able to just have a big party the whole night, and everyone was happy for us. And yeah, no, it was awesome. Like, it just felt like a big high the whole night.
Yeah, I think that was a year. I was in Australia, but I went to, because Elena told me early. I think I was one of the very first, because I said I'm going to England, and she's like, oh, really? And I said, like, she said, what the date? And I told her, and I think that's why she told me very early, but said, don't tell anyone. So that would have been the time when
You might have been one of the only people that she told
before.
beforehand, yeah.
Very privileged.
So
mate.
she told a couple of people at the pre-drinks at the pre-drinks, there was one state where we were getting ready to go, and she went, I'm just going to go to the bathroom, because she'd like nerves and everything. She called like two of the other girls into the bathroom with her, and like they were in there for ages. We were all ready to go, and I knocked on the door. I was like, babe, we're going to go. I opened the door to the bathroom, and all three of them were sitting on the floor like crying. I was like, what is going on?
Wait, was this before?
Yeah, right before. So she
so
just
who else?
told them,
Elena, and then who else was that?
maybe
Blanche?
Blanche and
Yeah,
Hannah.
okay.
I can't remember exactly who it was, but it was two of the girls, and she told them because she was real nervous, and so they were all crying and like.
So you thought something's wrong?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I was like, for sure we're going home. We're not even gonna make it to the party. Like, I was like, emotions are high, and I don't really understand why. And yeah.
Well, that all worked out, because now obviously you have your son Hercules as well. How are you finding that, man? Experience?
It's the best. So good.
Yeah.
I
love it too, man. no. I actually do love it. I know what you mean, but yeah, go on.
Honestly, I don't know if I've been really lucky or what it has been, but it has been 99% an unreal experience. And even the like tougher, more challenging parts of it, which have been very rare, like it's still kind of like once you get past it and you look back at it and you go, nah, it wasn't that bad.
Did you find it like that? Because I got most of the horror stories like from people. I think I said to Polly, my wife, I was like, I actually just want like us to have the baby now, because I'd heard so much about like the sleepless nights, and my father-in-law actually did say, which was good. He said, it's not going to be the same as, let's say, because I live in Parramatta, let's say a junkie waking you up at 2 a.m. Do you know what I mean? Like you're going to be real pissed off, or I don't know, your phone going off from a friend texting you at a wrong time or whatever else it is. He said it'll be different, like a different feeling. Like she woke me up early last night and I'm still relatively okay. But it's a different feeling, isn't it? But yeah, for you, do you find like those small things, not obviously you get tired and things like that, but they're not as big as you thought they might be?
Yeah, I think at the time it probably feels like big. Same like the sleepless nights, like the first few weeks. And for us, it was only a couple of weeks at the start of like real rough nights. And then he sort of sleep out real quick. At the time, it felt really, really hard and really challenging. And then you get past it and you go, oh, actually, that wasn't that bad. Yeah. And like we're talking about having another one if everything plans out and goes how we want it to, because it has been definitely overall a really good experience. I think it's the same as anything challenging, anything rewarding, anything big that you're doing in your life. Like nobody buys a house and then goes, fuck, I really loved handing over $1 million. That was sick. Like there's the hard parts to it for sure. It's training, like you lose heaps and heaps of weight. Like you love that you've lost the weight, but it was hard that you had to, stop eating the things you liked eating or giving up social stuff or whatever it is that you had to kind of give up to get to where you wanted to go. Like definitely hard parts to it, but you're doing it because you want to do something amazing, something much bigger.
Because speaking of challenges as well, because I remember when you became the PTEM, so personal training manager for anyone at Marrickville, you were saying it was a challenge more than anything that attracted you to that role, would you say? And then how did you, how long did you do that for? It was longer than we thought, wasn't it? Like it was pretty long.
I actually can't remember, like
2 years?
2 to 3 years maybe.
Wow.
I could be off, it could be less. I'm not sure. Yeah.
And who was the worst trainer you dealt with? And there's no, at one playground, there's no bullshit answers. So,
there was plenty of people that I didn't enjoy interacting with, but they all left fairly quickly anyway.
Okay.
And not because of anything I did, they just weren't the right fit.
Okay.
I didn't push them out.
Kessler?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
Could be male, could be female, could be young, could be old.
Was there one male and one female, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was it, without saying their name, what was it that like really, what would they do? Text late or text often or a bit of both?
No, it was nothing like specific. Like it was more an attitude thing. They weren't doing the job for the reasons that I felt like the job should be done. Like they weren't in the job for the right reasons or for the reasons that I felt were in line with what we were trying to do at the time, which just meant it was really hard to kind of, it was hard to manage them or help them in any way. They didn't really want the sort of help that I was offering. And so therefore there's always going to be a clash.
And then how do you feel Luciano's going now?
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
Right, but I remember you saying like you don't regret anything. And was that, because I did say on the run sheet, like I wanted to talk about your yes era. So was that in line with that? Like was it around your yes era? And what made you do? Like, so you were saying yes to whatever happened for 1 year, was it?
Initially, yeah. So it started like more or less after a breakup, I think, where I'd spent a little bit of time by myself, which was great. But just kind of was like, I'm literally just staying in my little bubble and just doing my thing. And then found myself getting frustrated that I wasn't meeting different people and wasn't doing new things. And I think there was, a little bit of self-reflection. And I was like, you know what? I think this is because I'm complaining about not experiencing new things and meeting new people. But at the same time, I was very much like, I was on one hand really comfortable. I liked what I was doing. I was really comfortable doing what I was doing. But on the other hand, the idea of going out and doing something different and meeting new people and other stuff, like I don't know if it was scary, but it was really off-putting. Like I didn't want to do it. I had no urge to do it. And yeah, I can't remember if someone suggested it to me or where I got the idea, but I was just like, you know what, for a full year, I'm just going to, whatever scares me. Like, I mean, I'm not going to go jump off a bridge because someone said, why don't you jump off a bridge? Like, if there's a reason to it, like, let's just do it and see what happens. Like, genuinely, what is the worst that could happen? Like, I have a horrible time and I don't do it again. Like,
and did that actually lead you, if you don't mind us talking about it, but did that lead you to Elena? Because
I think in a way.
You said, I know you said to me off the pod that it was a little bit, you're intimidated, was it, by, like, what was it, by how much you liked her or like how hard she trained? I mean, that would make sense. Or what was it? Like, you thought it might be a strong connection when you guys got together?
I'd love to say it was something corny, like, I was scared of how much I liked it. No, it wasn't anything like that. It was that she was a very intimidating person, a very, like, she was very tough and firm, or like that was my opinion of her at the start. Like, lovely, like we had plenty of conversations, but she was just a very, like, yeah, she was a very strong personality. And at the time, I wasn't that, and just kind of was like, there's no connection here. Like, why would we? And like, this was definitely after, like when we went out, it was definitely after this year. But that year had like, since then, I'm still, for the most part, if someone suggests something that I would normally say no to or normally move away from, like, yeah, I'll give it a go. Why not? So there's been a lot of carryover, but that was definitely like, I think if she'd asked me out prior to that, I just would have been like, no, that's
Really?
like, I think this is not a good match.
Mm.
So I think that definitely helped.
Is it like you felt like, let's say, training wise, or like was it more just in life in general? You thought maybe she would challenge you and you wouldn't be able to meet those expectations? Is that part of it?
Maybe. I don't even know if it went that deep. Like, I didn't really know her that well beforehand. Like, really, it was just our interactions within the gym. So it was just kind of seeing how she trained, and like, you know, her, like some of her mannerisms and stuff. Like, sometimes she can kind of come off as very abrupt and very like
Straightforward.
super straightforward. Yeah. And I knew nothing about her, so just based off of that purely, I was like, well, she's gonna eat me alive. Like, well,
And so that hasn't happened. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Obviously, I did think of a story just then. I don't want to, as I said, because obviously Elena's going to come on the pod, and we want to respect that you guys are together. But
Yeah.
I think this story will be okay because you actually didn't do anything wrong. Can you tell me the story of when Steve?
where are you going with this?
Steve Marinakis. Is that okay? Would that be?
Sure.
Because this is sort of like a live podcast. This is going out tomorrow, and I just thought, oh, we can't even edit this.
Yeah.
So, do you remember what happened? Like, so,
Vividly.
yes, yeah.
I'll never forget about that.
Yeah, so I was thinking in the context, because obviously when someone comes on the pod and they're with someone, I don't want to sort of bring up too much past relationships or whatever, but with this, I know this wasn't your fault. So could you like explain this story to the listeners? The uploaders?
Sure, yeah. This was when the gym first opened, Fitness Playground. I was younger. There was a female member that was like, we were flirty for a bit, and I can't remember how it came up, but she just like in the middle of the gym came up and was like, I'm a dancer. I can show you some dance moves, and like, it wasn't like that plain. I think she said it way better than that, but yeah, it was like, let's go into the group exercise room, and there was no one in there obviously, and she put on music, and I was like, I don't really know what's going on, but she was like, oh, let's dance. I was like, I don't dance. That's not, and to this day, still can't dance. One of the things I tried during my yes year did not work. So she was like, well, that's right. You go sit down there and I'll dance. I was like, okay. And then she was dancing on me, fully clothed, everything, but definitely dancing on me for all of about, I reckon, 3 seconds, to where one of the other staff members opened the door. We made eye contact. She closed the door, and I was like, well, I'm in big trouble now. And then I reckon 20 minutes later, had a meeting with the club manager then, which was interesting. What didn't quite go how I expected. Like, he felt awkward about it. I felt very awkward about it. We both knew what had to be said.
I think also, do you think because he knew your character as well? Do you know what I mean? Like, if I knew that you were involved, I wouldn't suspect that you orchestrated it. Does that make sense?
I didn't trick her into giving me a lap dance in the gym.
No, yeah, I wouldn't. If I heard that story, I wouldn't think, oh, it was Loki's idea. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, obviously, that member or anything like that, but just knowing your character, I really wouldn't suspect you of initiating that. Do you think that was a part of it?
Yeah, it could be, yeah. But I think, just Steve being Steve, I think he was, like, he didn't really tell me off. He just kind of went, look, I've done similar things. I've done worse things. Like, just have a think about how people are going to see it.
Perceive it. Yeah, fair enough.
But I think to his credit, didn't tell me to not do it again. I think he's just kind of like, just so you know.
Yeah, just obviously
Yeah.
like how it's going to be perceived and not in the gym. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay.
People talk about it 10 years later on a podcast. And
Yeah, I know. I wonder if Steve does listen to us, but here we go. Shout out to him. But I just thought of that story when we we're chatting then. Is that one of the most memorable stories like you had at fitness playground or one playground?
Yeah, like in terms of embarrassing, yeah, probably. Yeah.
I guess obviously you're engaged, like that's why I got you on the engagement, like it was a big thing for you.
Yep.
And then moving into the like going from PT to the firefighting, I know obviously you probably can't, I don't know how much you can say, but like what's your hardest experience, would you say, so far?
Like in terms of stuff that I've experienced on the job, it sounds like so. 3 years in, I've been very lucky in that the number of traumatic stuff I've had to experience has been very, very low. Low compared to my expectations, low compared to other people that have been in the job for a similar amounts of time. It's definitely not the most gruesome, but the thing that stands out the most, we got a call. We were out on the road somewhere, maybe on the way back from another job, and we had the radio on, and like we normally do, like we keep it pretty light in the truck, and we're all just having a chit chat, and we got a call to a car accident that was real close, and there were 2 people trapped inside, both unconscious, and one of them was a 3-year-old kid. And I just remember like everything went real silent, like all 4 of us, like radio went off, like nobody said a single word. And I don't even remember getting there. Like, and when we got there, kid had come to, Ambos had got there pretty much the same time as us. Like everything would end up being relatively okay. But I just remember that, like I still think about that now, like just I think it's just the thing being like a kid involved. That was kind of the big thing. But yeah, like plenty other stuff. Like we go to fatalities all the time, and not all the time. We go to fatalities and other traumatic stuff. But I have been very lucky with what I've had.
Yeah, because my friend Pat, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me mentioning, but because he's retired now, but he said he was trying to say it not in a bad way, but he said actually some of the things that like why he'd have nightmares or kept him it was to do with animals.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said like he said for whatever reason, like he'd seen same thing like fatalities, and I'm sure he's excluding kids, like just reading between the lines, or I'm sure he's excluding that. But he said in terms of like seeing an adult opposed to say like a dog, not just incinerate or sort of like just sort of fall, in front of him or whatever, or die in front of him. He said that actually sort of, he was like an animal person too, but that sort of stuck with him a lot. And he did say like it's probably a lot better for you coming into like the industry now, in terms of support and things like that. But he said the older firefighters had a lot of like demons and stuff. But I'm assuming, would you say just from your short time that they have a lot more support nowadays than, let's say, I don't know, 30? Obviously you weren't working, but just from what you hear.
Yeah, definitely. Again, from the limited amount that I've experienced, it seems really good. Anytime we go to a job that's had something, like had a fatality or something else, like you get a member of like the wellbeing team or someone else follows up with you either that day or the next day, has a chat. There's so many resources available to you. I haven't actually had to go through that process myself yet, so I don't know. I don't know how effective it is, but it seems like it is. It's really good from the outside, and definitely a lot better than what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago for sure.
And what made you like, because you had that dream, I remember I spoke to you years before, you had that dream. What made you want to be a firefighter?
I wanted to be a firefighter pretty much as long as I can remember. Like, I don't know if you remember, but like growing up I distinctly remember going through like different periods when I was a kid, being like, I want to be a builder. That's the coolest job ever. Like 100% want to be a builder. And then 6 weeks later, I want to be a chef. I want to cook good food and just eat all the time. That's the best job ever. And then just kind of going through that. But firefighter was the one thing that kind of always stayed there. We had I can't remember how old I was, but maybe 12 when we had a fire at our house. And I remember going through the whole process. I remember calling 000 and speaking to the operator and everything else. And like that kind of really stuck with me as well. And then, I think it was I knew I definitely wanted to help people. I knew I didn't want to be behind a desk. And those were probably the two things that also drew me to personal training. So I was really late getting my driver's license, maybe early 20s, like starting to drive. And to apply to firefighting, you need to have your full license. So
what stopped you from that?
I still now really dislike driving. I find it really stressful. I don't like, it sounds dumb, I don't like being in a metal box, driving 100 k's an hour and having two people either side of me also driving in metal boxes 30 centimeters away at 100 k's an hour. And if one of them sneezes, like I could have done everything right and I'm still going to die. Like, I don't know. There's something about, and I know it's no more rational to be afraid of that than it is flying or, I don't know, taking a train or all the other million ways. But I don't know, that for me has always stuck with me. So I've never liked driving. I've never really had that urge from a young age to drive. All my friends got their license real early, so it didn't really, they just drove me everywhere. Like it didn't stop me from doing anything.
So is it like you're saying, it's the control type, like,
Maybe.
yeah, like you're saying if you're, let's say you're driving, there's no driving perfectly, but you're doing everything right. And then like you said, I don't know, even if someone's on their phone or like, they get a phone call and they like lose concentration, they can technically touch wood, but they can cause an accident.
Yeah.
So that's a part of it.
Yeah, I think so. I don't normally have big trust issues, but I think there's a thing of that. Like I don't mind if I'm walking down the street and I'm looking where I'm going and I trip over and smash up my arm. Like that's my fault. I'll cop that. Like I wasn't looking. But if somebody else drives into me because they weren't watching, I'm still the one that's going to get hurt. I didn't have any control over that. I don't know. I still drive all the time. Like I'm okay with it. It doesn't stop me from doing anything. I'm not in a nervous sweat the whole time I'm driving. Totally fine. It's just never really been the sort of thing. Like I don't know. Everyone always talked about like, I just want the freedom of being able to get in my car and go wherever I want. And I don't know. I'll just get in an Uber. I'll just get in a taxi.
It's sort of like, I'm not judging you. It's sort of just more, how can I describe? What you're saying is actually logical, but I don't think like that. Do you know what I mean? Which is fine. Yeah. That's this is another segment we've had is like, because of our co-host Noor on the monthly shows, like, am I normal? Mm-hmm. So I guess this is your like, am I normal? Is that a normal, if you guys are listening, if there's anyone, no, the offloaders, anyone likes listening to,
now. Phone lines are lighting up.
Oh, hey mate, I think there's too many immigrants in Australia. No, I'm joking. That's Talkback Radio. So yeah, if anyone, that's funny. But if
that
anyone,
was the next thing you wanted to talk about, right? That was
yeah. Well, I haven't spoken about that recently, but it might be. You might have more people than you think, because in the UK it's a lot more common. Like Polly's friend, she's the only one with her license, but that is also due to the public transport being so good. But that's more normal to have to not have your license kind of thing over there. So, yeah, it's an interesting... Because I guess the way when you were explaining it, I can say is I feel like that with when I'm on a plane. So I feel no anxiousness, no nervousness, because I feel like the pilot's in control. So I have no control. So to me, I'm like, and I understand, fears and phobias are not rational sometimes, but to me, it's like, well, why would I be worried? Because I'm with a professional and he's in control. And to be honest, if something does go wrong, I can't do anything anyway. Like there's nothing I can do. So I sort of do get what you're saying. It's a little bit autistic, but I do, but that's okay.
Should I go get tested?
Well, I'm high on ADHD. We found out on this podcast, but I'm not even saying that in a bad way, but it's what I find with my nephews on the spectrum, and what I find is he says a few things that actually make complete sense, but it's just a different way. Do you know what I mean? Like a different way of thinking of it. So I'm like, that actually, I don't know why we don't think of it like that. Does that make sense? But it's just not it's not common. Let's just say that. I shouldn't say normal, neurotypical, whatever you say. But okay.
I mean, I think it's good that we don't think that way about, like, because there's heaps of stuff like that, right? Like we don't have control over most things. I think it's good that we don't think about it like that. We just stress all the time. Like, we'd just be really worried. And I definitely did find that, like, the first few long drives I did by myself, like, I was wrecked after 45 minutes because I was just on edge the whole time. Like, it wasn't sensible. It wasn't sustainable. Like, it's good that we're not like that about everything. Like,
I'm going to go down a different route, man. Who cares? I've had a couple of drinks with Kat, and it's actually not a funny route, but I've had a couple of drinks with Jackie and Kat today. Are you scared of death?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's not death. It's like the thought of someone, especially, I can understand also how do you go with Hercules in the car? Because that is the most, not road rage, but I'm like quite, let's say someone's up my ass and I have the baby on board sticker and things like that. I can get, like, let's just be honest. I could imagine myself, I could have a fight over it. But normally in the car, I'm not really road ragey. Like, I don't feel angry in the car, anything like that. But if Eva's in the car and someone's like right up my ass, like example, it's in Maryland, which isn't a man. In the West, I don't really care because I'm from there. That's the worst drivers in the universe. Like in the West. Like where I'm from in Fairfield, my mum, so she drives from Parramatta to her house in Harrington Grove, and you have like Fairfields in the middle, and she's like, I feel like I'm on Formula One. She goes, I don't know what it is, but I think because we have less cars, big highways, but then Australia does have a bit of a anger issue on the road. I've spoken with so many people, and it's quite a contradiction to our personality because we're quite easygoing, but on the road, it's aggressive.
Changes people.
Yeah, but I don't know what is it like, because there's a few, you know how I've got a story, but I don't know if I should share it. You know how there's you can go, Polly always finds this odd, how you can go left, but the thing is red. So in the UK, that doesn't exist. I don't even know if I've seen that in any other countries. So what I think that creates is you have people say you have an older person. If you're the first person, you might think, oh, they're older. They're just walking across. So you get someone behind beeping you. So that gets their frustration level. No matter what they do after that, they're pissed off on the drive. You're there and you're like, what the hell? Like, you're putting your finger up because you're like, there's an old guy there. Even if they're not old, but they're walking slowly, you have to make that decision. So there's a little bit more decision making, but someone we know or a friend of a friend, they actually lost their father due to that because he was coming on the red and a bus turned.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's interesting because Australia is usually very, I would call them, we're very reactive. Like it's good and bad. Sometimes we don't think about the consequence, but we'll change a law or change whatever. So I'm sure there's been a lot more fatalities like that. So yeah, what do you think makes us, that was a long way of asking a question, but what do you think makes us angry on the road?
Just personal opinion, I reckon it's, you're so, when you're driving, you don't see 360 degrees. You're looking at what's directly in front of you and occasionally what's directly behind you.
Okay, everyone's going. There's a live potty, guys. Yeah, go on.
So I reckon it's you're only seeing such a tiny bit of what's happening. You're not seeing what's happening 3 cars back. You're not seeing what's happening ahead. You're not seeing what's happening around the corner. So you're making a decision based off of a situation that you can only see 10% of, right? So I think it's the same as anything. If you only know a very little bit about a topic, you make an opinion about it. Most of the time it's going to be pretty wrong. And then it's inevitably going to be pretty frustrating. So I think
that doesn't happen on social media.
No. Or anywhere else on TV.
Yeah.
So I think and I catch myself doing it the same. Like I don't get road ragey. I don't have any of those issues. I just choose not to care. So if someone's going fast, it could be and probably is because they're an arsehole. They want to go fast. They think they're more important to you. They want to get ahead. And you could get frustrated about that. But there's also every chance that they've just got a phone call that their wife was in an accident like 3 streets up. So you could sit there and honk on your horn and try and cut them off and do everything else because you feel like rightly I should be frustrated about someone else doing the wrong thing, which then could in turn then make them really frustrated because all they're trying to do is get to this emergency. And you don't know the whole picture. So by reacting and getting frustrated, like you're never going to make things better by getting frustrated and kind of leaning into that. I think it's a whole lot easier to just kind of go, you know what, let them be an arsehole. Like,
yeah,
I'll allow myself to be 10 seconds later because I'm going to move over and slow down and get out of the way and then continue on my way rather than get frustrated, try and speed up, cut them off, honk them, whatever it is. Like, who cares?
This is a different topic, but this might be the best podcast of the shitters I've ever done. Not from you as a guest, but me as a host. I actually don't know.
You're on fire.
But I'm enjoying it now anyway. But we'll see how we go. But I feel like you'd be pretty. My mind started ticking away with what you're saying then. So I feel like you're pretty good at this. But I mean, Elena would probably be better to answer this question. So I'll give you the perfect scenario of like, as you said, traffic or whatever else it is. It's out of your control, right? Yep. So Eva wanted to go see Santa, okay? So we book in for Santa. I think Polly booked it in for 12:30.
You have to book.
Yeah, Santa's busy now. Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. Santa's real busy.
Online booking?
Online.
Pay a deposit?
Yeah, he paid. Yeah, bro. Wow. Santa's he's in demand. Yeah, Santa's a man of the people. Anyways, so funny hell. So Santa, we booked for Santa, and then I get there. Polly's lining up about 12:30. I think I got there. I was coming from work, like on a Saturday, about 12:40, whatever it is. Anyways, we're waiting there. We waited for ages. The lady next to us or behind us, she has teenage kids, which also weird. Like, why the fuck do you want your kids to sit on Santa's lap? I don't know, at that age. And I think she sat on his lap too.
I think that was probably the reason.
Started feeling
I reckon she wanted to, and she dragged the kids along.
And he started feeling her tits. He wanted to.
In front of the kids?
They're teenagers at least. No, he didn't.
That makes it better.
He didn't. She wasn't attractive. So. No, anyways, so she was getting really annoyed because the person was taking ages with the it was just a funny situation. The person who's doing the photo is taking ages, right?
Yep.
And I was annoyed. Like, I've come from work, so you know what it's like with PT. After you do sessions, your battery's drained.
Yeah.
So I've rushed there from work, and I've been like, I want to like see Santa, not me, but Eva.
Sure. Yep.
And sit on his lap so he fills
Truth
me
is
up.
coming out.
So we get there, and yeah, it's taking a long time, and the lady's getting frustrated. I felt frustrated, right? And Polly and I both said a couple comments like they're letting the families do like 20 photos, like let's hurry up.
Yeah.
And then what sort of actually changed my perspective or like mindset was the lady behind us is getting like real frustrated. Like, I mean, like going, fuck this and blah, blah, blah. And she's sort of being rude to the staff as well.
Yeah.
Can I also preface that the lady that's come around, I felt a bit sorry for her because she's probably like the jobs I've done in the UK. Like, it's just a promo job. Like, she's gotten any random job from an agency. So she's coming.
You don't need qualifications to be Santa's little helper?
No. And I don't even think they prepped her for the job because basically, I don't want to disrespect anyone, and I can't really do it that well. But she's basically come over and let me try to do what she's basically gone like this. Ho, ho, ho. Have you? She's basically gone, I can't even get it out. Wait. Have you signed in? Like that.
Classic Christmas line, yeah.
And then we're like, so the lady's getting annoyed. But what I thought was, I'm like, however annoyed I get, it's out of our control, right? So I just let go. We waited for to be honest, it was about 2.5 hours, like in the line to see Santa. But the first half an hour I was frustrated, but because she was so frustrated, and also I was thinking, why are you taking your kids to see Santa anyway? But I was just like, this woman, she just seemed like everything would annoy her.
Yep.
Like, she was getting annoyed with the kids, she was getting annoyed with the staff, like whatever. So I just let it go. I was like, whatever. I was like, I'll take Eva to the shop, to another shop. You stay here. Then we're taking turns. And then we were Polly and I were fine.
Yep.
And I said after, because she goes, thanks. You sort of got me out of that negative space. And she said what was the catalyst for that? And I said, the woman behind.
Yep.
Because I just felt like she'd get angry at everything. So I was like, it's a bit like traffic. This is a long way of this story, but it's like if you're running late and then you get in traffic, it pisses you off more, but you're the one who's late.
Yep.
So you should have really got there earlier. So that was the perfect example. But what I was going to say to you, I feel like you'd be really good with that. But I asked you on the run sheet, we haven't done much of the run sheet, but your weekly offload, what pisses you off? What gets you annoyed, you say?
I was thinking about this before because not many things get me annoyed. I get annoyed when people don't help themselves. And that's to say, when people just sit there and get frustrated for the sake of getting frustrated. Her getting frustrated wasn't getting her anywhere. And there's no universe where you could be 2 hours waiting in line at the back of the line, get frustrated, angry, agitated, and everything else, and someone goes, actually, yeah, you can come forward to the front. That seems reasonable. There's no possible good outcome, and it's different to kind of going my phone company charged me twice for my bill, and so I'm going to call up and be frustrated. That's fine. Be frustrated, call up, get your money back. I'm not saying don't get frustrated. Just if you're going to get frustrated, there has to be a reason. There has to be an outcome. So I get it annoys me when people don't help themselves, when they spiral into that kind of frustration and not just frustration. Sometimes it's disappointment or whatever else. And we all do it. We all get disappointed, frustrated, everything else, but acknowledge it. And then if you can change it, change it. If you can't change it, stop being frustrated about it.
I get what you're saying. You're saying constructive criticism to, let's say, a company or whatever is okay. But yes, and to be honest, most of the things she was saying wasn't even to the staff. It'd be to her kids.
Yep.
Oh God, how long are they taking? Oh, I can't wait till Santa fills me up.
Yep.
This is a next level podcast, man. Because I've been out with Kat and Jackie before this. Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on, man, in my brain. And this is just an everyday life, but on this podcast too. But yeah, so that changed my. So so many things don't annoy you. Is there a different side to you that we don't see? Even the PTs, Are you a serial killer or like what's going on?
You caught me. No, like I mean, I do definitely get frustrated about things and catch myself like in that. And it's not always immediate. Like sometimes it is. Sometimes I can go, fuck, that's really annoying, and then take a second and go, oh well, can't do anything about it, move on, sort of things. And other times it takes a day or two for me to kind of turn around and realize like actually, what's the point? I had the other thing that really annoys me is real estate agents. I really try hard. It'll make sense. It'll make sense.
It's just funny because it's so specific. It's like we're saying not many things to talk about real estate agents, but go on.
I really try hard to give everyone 5 chances, the benefit of the doubt. Everyone's a good person at heart. Even if I don't see the good side of them, I'm sure they're a great person. I really struggle with real estate agents. I've only experienced 1 or 2 good ones out of a lot of people. We're renting at the moment. The last place we were renting with, they were making things really, really, really frustrating, almost impossible, making us jump through hoops. Yeah, really, 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 really tough. And I definitely got to the point where I had to, after weeks of back and forth, and it was all that me and Elena were talking about was how frustrating the situation was. It took me a while to realize and kind of go, I'm making this way worse only for myself. Like this is by just letting this get to me so much, to the point where I called up the real estate agent after being really petty and passive aggressive and digging myself into a hole and everything else. And I just went, look, I'm really sorry. I stand by everything that I said. I still feel really strongly about this stuff, but I know that I have been petty and I know that I have been passive aggressive and everything else.
How'd they react to that?
They were appreciative, and then didn't actually change anything on their end. Totally fine. They didn't need to. I wasn't doing it because I was trying to get something out of them. But I reckon it took up 5% of the time that it was taken out of my life before that, with the amount of energy I was putting into it. So when you say, is there another side to me? I get frustrated, I get angry, I get upset, I get everything else. But I think I am quite good and getting better at just kind of acknowledging the stuff that I can change and then trying to change it. Or if I can't change it, who cares? Move on. Like I got my wallet stolen out of my car last week. And
really?
There was heaps of cash in there and there was cards and other stuff. And I reckon it took me about 2 minutes to kind of go, oh, cash is gone, move on. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'll call the banks tomorrow and I'll cancel the cards now and do all that other stuff and it'll all be fine. Like,
how'd you get to that point though? What was your, I've never asked you, what's your upbringing like? Like, how did you get to this?
Let's get deep.
Yeah, let's get deep, man.
Real deep. I had my events. I had my, not traumas, but I had my hard times and other stuff. But I think I had overall like a really, really good upbringing. I'm really blessed with how I was brought up. My parents split up when I was 6. I lived with my mum for another 6-7 years after that, and then moved with my dad in Sydney. So I grew up in Melbourne. Like parents would divorce, but they were unreal. They never said a bad thing about the other one. Like they were always really kind of, they didn't like each other, but they were careful to not say that stuff.
Not bad mouth them as parents.
Yeah, for sure. They were both fantastic. They were really, really good. And I had my issues with my mum, which is part of the reason why I moved to live with my dad for a while. I had the same issues with my dad, and that was probably where I realized that the issues might not actually be my mum, it might be me. So like I had a lot of like anger issues and other stuff. And I think that was kind of it was a big wake up moment for me moving with my dad, because I was like, well, my mum's awful. She's horrible. Like this, everything she does infuriates me. And then moved my dad, and within a week, I was having the exact same issues, exact same arguments, same everything. The only difference being that my dad wouldn't let me push him around as much because he was bigger than me. And so that, for me, I reckon within a week or two, it was very much like I've got issues.
Surprising. This is another thing. This is
yeah.
why I love doing podcasts,
Yeah.
especially with the guys from One Playground. Yeah, surprising. Okay, so what age was that around?
Like
Would you say?
12, I think 12.
Which I guess is, I don't want to give you, it's not an excuse, but it's explanation in terms of like a kid that's had a divorce is quite difficult regardless. And then moving as well would be tough. But yeah, so that's a young age to like admit that to yourself as well. Was that just because you're like the variables changed, but I didn't? I'm the like one constant in this story.
Yeah.
So is that what made you?
Everything like I moved to a different state, so I wasn't hanging out with the same friends. I wasn't at the same school, different house, everything different. So it was pretty hard to not kind of go like, I at least have to be contributing to this problem. Like, there's no way that everything else around me can change and I'm in the exact same situation and it not be at least partially my fault.
Hard to realize at that age, though. Good on you.
Yeah. And again, I had when I left Melbourne, things were left really bad with my mum. Like if I'd stayed there for another week or two, like I reckon we wouldn't have had a relationship. It was really, really bad. But even despite it being so bad, like when I was ready to kind of talk to my mum again, like she was 100% accepting and everything else. So I was really lucky that I had really accepting parents and really understanding and yeah. So I had challenges, but I reckon I had a really, really lucky upbringing.
If you don't mind me asking, do you remember what you're angry about, or you didn't even know at that young, like at that age?
I remember specifically that it was unbelievably infuriating to me that she was asking me to do the dishes every second night. Like that, I could not believe that she would even ask that, especially given how much of a fuss I made the last time she asked me, and she still asked me again. It was awful. I didn't like that when I pushed her over in the hallway because she wouldn't let me go out with my friends, and that she fell over and hurt her arm, that then she made me go out into the backyard and stay there for an hour while she cooled off. Like, I punched walls. I remember being so sure that she was being evil. And then looking back at it, kind of going like, it was everything little that she asked me to do.
Interesting, because as I said, as you as an adult, yeah, very surprising. Because I'd say I would describe you quite good with authority, or like getting asked to do things, or so that wasn't a trait you had as a child. You learned that.
Yeah. And then it continued. No, sorry, it didn't continue. I had a moment when I moved out of home when I was 18. I moved into a share house and I moved in with two of my best mates, and it was awesome. It was a great time. We liked all the same stuff. Really, really good household. But they were like, or their whole lives, their parents had made them, like had done their dishes for them, had washed all their clothes for them, had done everything for them. And so when it was like after a week of living together and the place was a bomb, I couldn't believe that they weren't cleaning up after themselves and weren't doing that stuff. I called my dad and called my mum, and both are like, thank you so much for making me do dishes. Thank you for this stuff. All that stuff that when I remember when I was 12, 13, 14, and they were like, you have to do dishes. You'll thank me one day. And I was like, why would I ever thank you for making me do dishes? Why would I ever thank you for making me wash my own clothes? That's so that I actually know what I'm doing when I move out of home. And
so did you feel like they were strict, like
No.
at the time?
No.
So they were just normal parents, but
I think for my mum, part of it was like she was a single mum and she had two, so me and my brother, single kids. So she was trying to work and do it. Like, so there was part of it like you need to do some of the household chores because you are old enough and because I can't do everything and work and do everything else. Like it's just not, it wasn't going to work. But there was no, like, she would still cook every night and she'd clean the dishes every night and every other night. She'd wash all of the clothes as long as I don't even think we had to fold our clothes. We just had to get them from the pile that was folded and put them away in our drawers. Like we didn't have to do a lot. Like she still did plenty. It wasn't super strict. I just, at the time, I really struggled with her. It just felt really unfair that she was making me do that stuff.
Yeah, so interesting to me. Okay. Yeah, and did you think, like, do you remember the feeling, like, when they said they were going to split up? Like, did you feel angry when they said that?
I was 6, but it wasn't a surprise. Like, they would argue every single night after we went to bed. They were never in front of us, but we'd hear them arguing through the house once we were in bed. So we'd heard them arguing for a long time. It wasn't a surprise when they said that. I think it was kind of like, great, you're not happy, you do your thing. I think it was more kind of questions of like, when are we going to see people, and like, how's this going to work, sort of thing, rather than being real angry or disappointed. Or that's what I remember anyway.
And when you because this is more a question, obviously, because we, like Polly and I, honestly, I'm not just saying for the pod, but we don't argue much. But I do think about this because I remember being younger and hearing your parents. It's probably the worst feeling in the world. But do you is that like, Polly always says that your first memory is usually like the strongest. Is that like one of your first memories of them arguing, would you say?
I genuinely don't have any memories of like doing things as a family. So I don't have memories of like going away on a holiday all together. Like all of my memories of like holidays and those good fun memories are all after the split up. So it's all with them separately. So yeah, could be one of the earliest memories of that discussion of like we're gonna separate for sure. Yeah.
Because I don't remember much, to be honest, of my childhood. So yeah, I find that sort of fascinating that you said your memory is like, you think 6 is a young age, but then other people have memories of like 3 years old.
Yeah.
But maybe your brain, sort of to save you as well, as just giving you your childhood from that period on, because it doesn't want to go back to because it didn't work, essentially. Not that it's your parents' fault or your the children's fault, anyone's. Just man, sometimes people just aren't meant to be together. And I actually commend them for making the decision rather than staying together. Look how many people that are like my parents' age, man, not many couples I know really are meant to be together at that age. So it's a bit of a paradox, because we're talking with, I'm sure Blanche won't mind me saying, she was saying like how hard dating is like nowadays, and finding someone. And I agreed with her. I said, yeah, that's like very true. But then on the flip side, it was like how people say, oh, in the old days, everyone was just accepted each other and blah, blah, blah. How many older couples do you really see and be like, you're still in love, or you're even compatible? So I think it's like flipped completely, but I can actually commend them for making that decision early on and not putting you guys through those sort of things. Any regrets with the move, I guess? Did you feel bad once you did realize that you were the common denominator in it? Did you feel bad that you did move away from your mom, or you just think everything happened for a reason?
Probably initially I felt bad. I definitely felt guilt. And it wasn't like a snap decision of like, oh, it's all my fault, sort of thing. It took me a little bit of time to get there. But I think it was the right thing to do. Like I said, I reckon if I'd stayed for another week, 2 weeks, probably that would have been a relationship done. With too much damage would have been done. And now me and my mum, stronger than ever, great relationship. I think it probably took the move to make that happen. It's not everything happens for a reason, but we wouldn't be in this position if I hadn't have moved away and made that realization. And no, it was definitely the right thing to do.
And then your sibling, are you close to them as well?
Yeah. Okay. So my brother, he's 2 years younger. I've got a brother that's 2 years younger than me and a brother that's 18 years younger than me. But the one that was 2 years younger than me, he moved to Sydney a couple of years after I did. And he lives just around the corner now from me. He's got a kid who's 9 months younger than mine. Like we're real close. It did at the time. It did make our relationship much more distant. But again, I don't know that it would have stayed that way or if it would have gotten stronger or anything. Like now we're in a really good position. No regrets.
Yeah, okay. So this has gone, because I was going to get you to sing or do something stupid on here. Like I was asking the guys at work today, I was like, what should I get Loki to do on the podcast? And they're like, oh, say get him to sing or like do something. But yeah, okay. I didn't actually know a lot of that about you. And it makes sense to who you are today. And I mean, like, you should be proud of yourself to turn that around. Yeah. Because a lot of people could have been quite like bitter.
Yep.
Even the situation that you said of going to the share house and then realizing, oh, I get what they were trying to do, like all these years later.
Yeah.
And having those shit friends that didn't pick anything up made you realize, not shit friends, but just...
They were great friends.
They're great friends.
They didn't know. They had no concept of like, why would I clean up after myself? Someone else would do it.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's been pretty good, man. We've talked about, what are we, Santa? You were saying Santa getting with that unattractive lady. Yeah. And then we've talked about one playground, your childhood. I guess I'll probably go one more question for you just to end off. How do you, with everything with your childhood and you explaining everything, and I appreciate you being like honest on here as well. I always say that to the guests, but I guess for you, in terms of like your relationship with Elena and then to Hercules and your future children, how do you want them to see your bond or relationship, would you say?
Good question. I don't know. I don't think just honest. Like I'm not like trying to put out this image of being perfect or anything like that. Like just I want them to see the good parts of me, and I want them to see where I struggle and everything else. And they have. I don't try and hide that stuff with Elena especially. I want them to see that because I was really big on. I want people to feel comfortable coming to me and asking for help. Like you asked me why I wanted to get into firefighting. I want to help people. It's the same reason I got into personal training. I want to help people. I want people to come and ask me for help. But I can't expect people to ask me for help if I'm not willing to ask for help as well. Like if I'm just sitting there and like, oh, I'm perfect, I never have any struggles and blah, blah, blah. Like if I don't ask you for help, you're not going to feel comfortable coming and asking me for help. So I think I'm more than happy to go out in there and tell you when I'm struggling and tell you when I need something and admit when I've done something dumb and that I should probably fix that up, because they'll learn from that as well. They'll see from that and they'll be able to help me out when I need that as well.
Yeah, I think great way to end it, Loki. Thanks for coming on.
No worries.
Would you do it again?
Yeah. We already locked in part 2, part 3, part 4.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are they going to entail? We've gone around the world. We've gone around the world. I'm going to try a new send-off as well, because we've ended quite serious. Normally I'd say take a load off for this week, but I think, let's say I'm Maddie McCormick with Loki Milson and the Pimps of the Crew.